I don't understand it. Uh, Personally, myself, I've never voted for him, but I will say on the ballot there haven't been any really good options, and I think with Bashir, it's almost more of like a familiarity type thing, like that he's not so terrible that he hasn't changed things so much that we'll just stick with him, and it's almost like we'll stay with him because we can't do better.
He's really
That's how I
popular.
feel.
He's extremely popular though. He's like a sixty
I
percent
know, I
plus
know
approval
that,
rating. So
I
he's
know,
really
like on
popular in the state, even
I,
without like.
I, well, I know he's on like a short list, like of like 10 people to run for president. The Democrats, you know, coming up, uh, which obviously, you're a Democrat, correct?
I don't care
You're
about the
unless
parties, but I am a Democrat because Republicans are insane. Yeah.
right, right. Well, you have to, as far as voting, like you have to be a Democrat or a Republican
I
now.
voted
Like,
Republican before for like state auditor general and stuff like that. But
yeah,
for races
look, I'm
that do
not.
like laws, then I don't do that because I'm like very pro-choice and that kind of stuff. So.
I will vote. I will vote my conscience. And me and my family, we grew up Democrats our whole life, our whole entire life. But as far as I can see, the Democrats have gone so far to the left, like absolutely insane, that that it's forced us to like. And Trump has really spoken to people, especially like me, like a farmer, a middle class worker. And I want to talk on something where you said he doesn't care about Americans. And I mean, I don't know how you can say something like that. The border itself shows that he cares about Americans. How can you defend that position and say that he does not care about Americans when he's shutting down the border in itself?
Um, because he's not doing anything to help American workers or
But
American
okay,
people.
okay, but here, what is he doing? He's stopping cartel members from bringing illegal drugs or killing people. He's stopping people that shouldn't be here anyways committing crimes. Granted, yes, we have citizens commit crimes and everything like that. But why should we allow? Why should we have people that shouldn't be here who are here criminally
No one.
killing
Do you think anyone
citizens that do
disagrees that
live
we
here?
should keep? Do you think Democrats think we should keep violent criminals in America?
I'm sorry. Can you say it again?
Do you think Democrats believe we should keep violent criminals in America?
I think that there are a large population, especially in California, that are very, very lack on crime, and the people have been arrested and released 3 and 4 and 5 times on violent crimes and end up killing someone on their fifth time out.
What kind of violent crime? I'm pretty sure I don't know what kind of violent crime you could get arrested for 5 times. Is it like shoplifting and petty crimes, or is it like actual violent
No,
crime?
no, like actual violence, like assaults, even shootings. Like, and I'm not. This
Okay,
is this is
I'm
not me
sorry. I
making
just
up. This
really
is
doubt that people are getting out
I no,
after multiple shootings, after they shoot multiple
so,
people. You're saying California
so
just lets them go. What do you think
so
about their
also
shoplifting rule with the $900
the,
thing?
the shoplifting rule. I don't think that people should steal. I'm a devout Christian. I'm a man of God. I don't think anyone should steal. Um, and I don't know. I think that's like a tricky situation. Like, are you talking about like the debate if it's someone so hungry and so poor that they had to come in and steal bread to be able to feed their family, or are you talking about going in there and looting and just doing it just to like take whatever they can because they can, and
Well,
then to go turn it and make money?
there's that lie that Trump says about California, where if you steal under a certain amount, that it's legal to steal. Um, so I just bring that up to because people believe that it's like legal to steal under a certain amount. Yeah, but he lies about that a lot.
I don't think that it's legal to steal in any place. I think that it's being what I think California is. What's a good word for it? They hand wave at it. You see what I'm saying? Like that they're not necessarily allowing it. They're just like hand waving at it, which is a problem because if you let a small if you let a minuscule crime perpetuate and more that not even more
You're cutting out a
and
little
higher.
bit.
Here, I'm sorry. Here, I'm moving. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Can
don't
you hear
really want to talk about California that much though. I want to go back to like what Trump is doing right now. So A lot of what he's doing with the federal government is really unconstitutional. So like kidnapping people and kicking them out of the country with no due process, I think is really bad. Or
Yeah,
like
yeah. Let's talk
deporting
about
green card
that.
holders for speech that he doesn't approve of. So like that one person from Colombia, who has no ties to terrorist groups, but they said he's aligned with terrorist ideology or un-American ideology
The
because
guy
he's
in
pro-Palestinian.
Colombia.
Yeah, but the White House is not even charging the person with a crime. They're just saying they don't like what they've said, and they want to themselves say the person's a national security threat and deport them. And it's really bad to me that someone could get disappeared that quickly just off of if the president, decides their speech is not good. I think it's really bad for the First Amendment.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I do see a point in that, but do you remember what happened at Columbia? Do you remember that Jewish people were literally held that were just trying to go to classes, were blocked from going to their classes, that they were blockaded, that they were screamed at?
Well,
Like,
everyone was blocked from the campus. They did have encampments, and those
but it
were
was
illegal.
for
But that wasn't just like
specifically Jewish students only.
no, there are anti-Semitic people involved in these protests for sure, but when it comes
That,
to
but
like
that,
targeting Jewish students, it targeted all students going to class. It was not just Jewish students.
but what I'm saying is the man that we're talking about here was involved in that specific thing. It's caught on tape.
There's
He
nothing
was
there.
he
There's
was a
no.
ringleader of that.
He has not said anything that's anti-Semitic that I could find at all. Like I
It's
tried
because
finding something.
it's still in discovery. It will come out in court.
So the White House can go send Department of Homeland Security to go with agents dressed in plain clothes to this guy's house and rip him away from his pregnant wife. Don't tell anyone any names. Don't tell a reason for arrest. Don't tell a location he's going to be held at. They could just go disappear him with no crime or nothing, because and still being in
You mean kind of
discovery. I
like
feel I feel like they
you
had
mean
no
kind of
court
like
order.
you mean kind of like Garland, who can just go to a ex president's house and just raid him when his
No, that was a
lawyers
court order.
open?
That was legally done. That was completely legal,
Yeah,
and they
no.
did find illegal documents. So I mean,
What
that
is
was justified.
commonly not talked about that though
But
is that
you're
Trump's
saying something
lawyers
legal. I'm saying something that should not be legal. These are completely
Trump
these are not comparable at all.
I think that they are. I
Well,
think they are.
okay, so on one hand, the White House is sending DHS to go to this guy's house and rip him away from his pregnant wife. No crime, no names, unmarked officers, nothing at all. Disappearing him, no contact with his lawyer, no habeas corpus respected. So like when it comes to he shipped off to Louisiana when he should have been held in New York. Because it's a more favorable judge to deport him. They've said there's no crimes that happened, no warrant, no nothing. They're saying he had speech that we deem as anti-Semitic or un-American or anti-Israel. Therefore,
Well,
we
why
can just
would Trump
say that we can
let
deport
him go
him.
to New York? Why, like New York is obviously biased towards Trump. So
No, it's the person's child. If you're in New York, so you're saying they should purposely find. If you're in the jurisdiction, they can easily process you in New York or in New Jersey or in one of those states. They're the ones being biased. They're the ones taking the person to Louisiana to purposely find a
okay,
judge
well,
that'll rule in their favor.
okay, well, I'll give you that. All right, I'll give you that. But will you at least concede the fact that Trump's whole due process was biased?
It was okay. So getting a court order or a warrant and being able
No,
to
no, I'm just asking,
that was
like the way
legally
that he was
done.
treated in New York and the way everything was done.
New York
Are
was
you
completely no,
okay
no,
with
New
the
York.
way
He
that
did
was
do
done
illegal things.
legally?
He did do illegal things in New York. Those were crimes in New York. Those were financial crimes. Those 100% were. There's no legal
Okay.
reading where he was innocent there. They could say he was persecuted or that rich people usually don't get held accountable, but those were reasonable charges and they were reasonable
So you're
convictions as
saying
well.
Trump is he you call him a fascist quite a bit, correct? So you're saying that he is exceeding the power of the presidency of the United States.
Yeah, 100%. So like killing
Okay.
government agencies without Congress, just detaining people without giving any reason for arrest, saying that every journalist he doesn't like should be illegal and jailed. And also like he's ignored multiple court orders already from federal judges. He said he is the living constitution. No federal judge is allowed to tell the executive branch, what is legal or constitutional or have an injunction or restraining order or anything. So yeah, I mean, he's been calling for outright just he's been calling to have zero checks and balances aggressively.
Okay, all right, that's fair as your point, and I respect your opinion. Let me ask you one question though: Is
Okay.
there is there um, is there anything that Trump has ever done in either of his terms that you think is good, or that it's been good for America?
Well, I would say the USMCA is good. That was like NATO, or not NATO. That was like NAFTA version 2. But now Trump says our trade deal with Canada and Mexico is garbage. And he said, who the hell made this trade deal? And he's the one that made the trade deal, the USMCA. So I would say that's good, but I mean Trump says it's terrible now, so I don't really know. He did the First Step Act, that was bipartisan, so he did sign it into law. But yeah, I mean
Do
as
you
far as
think that the work at the border is warranted? Do you think that there is an issue at the border, or there was one under Biden?
So like right now, our money is going to ICE agents detaining like doctors, for example, or just like people that are coming through with a visa, or they're looking to, they have an expired visa, looking for an office to see if they can resolve it, and they're getting detained. An actress was detained from Canada. There's a bunch of people being detained right now that are nowhere near violent immigrants. I'm pretty sure that only like 20 to 30% of total deportations have been violent criminals so far. Around 50% were non-criminal, undocumented people, and only like
Yeah.
less than half of the people deported so far were actually illegal immigrants or violent criminals. So as far as fixing the border, though, that is not mass deportations. If anything, we're using resources, going after peaceful, good people when we should be focusing all of our resources at violent crime and fixing the border, which is gonna take actual legislation through Congress to fix our broken immigration system. But I wouldn't want to spend
And you
any
think
money at
that they're
all
good
on
people, and
undocumented people.
I don't doubt that. Like I've known many people, and I like me. I work in construction. I've worked with people that are illegal immigrants, but at the same time, they were criminals. You are
No, so like
when you come across the border, or you stay past your allotted time, you are committing a crime.
it's a civil infraction. It's not technically criminal at that point. It's a civil infraction, and it's treated much differently. So like back in the day in the U.S., back when people say America was great, so like Marco Rubio's grandfather, for example, Marco Rubio's grandfather came here illegally, and then
Sure.
he overstayed a visa, and then he was able to adjust his immigration status later. And people always say we got to go back to a certain date or whatever. But like we need to fix the immigration system for sure. But there's no place in America that's seeing like the negative effects of immigration in a large scale. There's definitely immigrants that do crime, just like there's any people that do crime.
Of
But
course.
fixing the immigration system is very, very, very complicated, and I feel like Trump never talks about asylum. And you said illegal, like asylum seeking is completely legal. There's people here under protective status that they're now detaining and
Of course.
deporting. So like
Of
if they come
of
here for
course.
asylum, it's a legal thing.
But is it also possible that some people exploit the asylum?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean we should go and just like without any
So
due
what
process
so
deport people
so
who
what
are
we
just
do
here.
so what we do is we block we completely shut the border off until we can create a system so that we know what's fair and who's coming into our country. That's what he's doing. And yes, it might seem a little bit harsh, but
No,
it
but
is
like
for the safety of.
deporting little kids with brain cancer, like he deported a 10-year-old girl with brain cancer, who's a
And
U.S.
that's bad.
citizen
It's
because
like
her parent was undocumented, but they're working in our communities, and like you can close down the border if you want, and you could fix the immigration system, but he's not doing that. He's going after people for the sake of going after people.
I don't
If
think
he was
so.
only going
Yeah,
after violent criminals, that'd be great. But he just sent a
he's not
tattoo
he,
artist from Venezuela to
yeah, I
El
saw that.
Salvador, and that guy should not be in like El Salvador prisons are basically concentration camps. And that guy had a court date where he was going to show the tattoos and say, "Hey, these tattoos are not gang affiliated. I escaped from Venezuela because of he was gay, I'm pretty sure, and he would have been killed there. He escaped to America, completely reasonable and probably legal asylum claim. He had a court date, but no, Trump said, I'm going to screw over the Constitution. I'm going to not listen to the judge. I'm going to ship this guy off. Now there's an innocent guy who is completely going through the legal process the right way, an innocent person that we're now sentencing to rape and death.
Yeah, and I mean,
And we're
listen,
laughing
man.
about it.
I think a child having cancer, brain cancer, is terrible. And in fact, when Trump gave a speech to the joint Congress, and they lifted that child up that wanted to be a police officer, I thought that was an amazing moment. Like that, like clap for the kid. But every Democrat sat down there and
Do
didn't even
you?
clap for him,
This is the big
only
thing,
because
though.
only because Trump said it. That's how spiteful.
No,
And that is
do you know
how
why
foul
actually
the
though? But think
Democrats
about
are.
this for a second. Think about this. He is deporting a 10-year-old girl that has brain cancer. He's deporting her and her family back to a country where she never lived. Okay? They are deporting this little
Because
girl with
that
brain
they can
cancer.
support,
And
they
he's
support.
defunding child cancer research. He wants to defund Medicaid that goes to children that get cancer. So Donald Trump right now is harming every kid in America right now who's from a working class background when they get sick. That's why Democrats were upset. He's using this boy, and it's awesome that the kid is able to, go have these experiences. I think they should have clapped, but also, the boy's being used as a political prop from Donald Trump because he's not backing up caring for kids with cancer through his actual actions.
Every president does that at
I
every one of the
agree.
speeches.
I agree. Yeah, it
Everyone.
was for propaganda. I want him to treat kids well. I want him to make sure kids with cancer are taken care of, and he's screwing those kids over to give
Biden
tax
did it.
cuts to billionaires.
Obama did it. Clinton did it. They all do that.
Yeah,
And
but no,
they're
but
good.
only
Still
Donald
good.
Trump. But
Good
those
presidents.
presidents you just mentioned helped people get more health care. Donald Trump wants to take these little kids that have cancer's health care away, and he's going to hold up this one, kid, and he's,
So would you like to see our healthcare move towards like what Canada's is?
no, okay, so we have like Medicaid, for example, and they're proposing cuts there, but they're ending child cancer research, pediatric cancer research, and they're deporting little girls that have brain cancer. So like at that point, Trump is using that as propaganda piece, and he's not backing it up at all.
Dodge stuff and what they're doing right now?
The what?
Are you talking about like the Dodge cuts and like what they're going through and like everything like that? Is that part?
Well,
Is
that's
that
part of killing Medicaid, and they actually passed it through the budget to cut a lot of Medicaid, and make it a lot harder for kids to get. But like in general, what I'm saying is like that one symbolic gesture, which is a propaganda political ploy, which you even said. I agree. Presidents do that all the time. It's a trap politically. It is a political trap for the other side to fall for, and Democrats fell for it. But that does not mean that the Democrats' actual value claims that millions of kids who will never get the chance to be on camera, Trump is going to kill millions. Trump is going to harm millions of kids who do not get a chance to be on camera, and he's going to use that one boy for propaganda, and that's what's disgusting about it. And I know kids that'll be affected by the cuts they want to do. I know kids that'll be affected by the research they want to cut. So when I see that boy brought up, I'm like, holy shit, this is disgusting. They're going to use this one boy, make him a national icon, while they're killing all the other kids. It's pure political. It's terrible.
Okay, but hear me out on this. All right, you're saying that he's taken away all our health care, right? And so you're probably on the that our government should provide health care for everyone, right?
I think we should have a mixed system. So there should be some type of universal health care or public option.
And let me finish out on this, please. These tariffs that Trump is putting into play, they're a political card that he's using to bring back manufacturing jobs into the United States so that more jobs and more Americans will have jobs, i.e., then they will be able to provide for their families and have health insurance plans for their children, which will be far better than Medicaid can be for them. Because if we have a whole country that is that their health care is by the government, we'll end up like Canada, and we'll have people waiting 6-7 years to have a surgery for a leg, and then it ends up having to be amputated. Do you see what I'm saying? It's better for the private sector to have more jobs to offer good health care than it is for the government, for people to depend on the government providing health care for people that aren't
the
working.
average wait time for knee replacement in Canada is like 20 weeks. And just in general, like the idea that we're getting leg amputations because they can't give someone care, that person will be put in front of the line. But
waiting 6 years?
I'm not for the Canadian system, by the way, but Canada's system is much better than ours, which we have a much lower life expectancy in America because of that. People live like 7 years longer on average in Canada. That's millions and millions of years that people live longer than Americans do. But I would go for a system like Australia and Germany, and those systems have mixed systems, so you can have employer insurance, but you also are guaranteed some type of plan. So like everyone can get Medicaid, for example, in Australia.
How many people live in Canada versus the United States?
The United States has a lot more resources per person. We are far richer than Canada, so we should be able to easily make it better. Like if we did Canadian system, we should be able to. We have much more resources. We should be able to do the same system 10 times better.
You know what? I agree with you on that too, on the life expectancy. For one, another thing that Trump wants to do, he wants to bring in pharmaceuticals being made in America, not in India, not in China. That's what he wants to do. You don't think that that's a good idea, especially for especially for the security of our country? I do.
Yeah, he
I don't.
should be doing smart policies to get that done then. The thing with the
He
tariffs
is.
is, no, he's doing an emotional tariff that goes off and on every day. You need like multi-year plans, like actual economic trade deals. You can make, and by the way, the USMCA that he did,
You know these
you can
tariffs
negotiate
aren't about
tariffs
money,
within
though,
that.
right? They're power plays.
No, but if you want to adjust like entire industries, for example, you can't just turn them on and off every day because the market doesn't know how to plan for it. People don't know how to invest. They don't know how to move resources around. So you have to have an actual trade deal with countries, or you have to have another process to help companies come back, whether it's like subsidies or focusing in different industries. This takes years and years and years. You don't just like take a company and teleport it to America. You need to have long-term financial and economic plans, but Trump never gives us any plans for anything. He just kind of says emotional things and like, I'm mad today. Canada, 85% tariffs. Actually, 5,000,000%. Actually, I saw a cute birdie today, 0% tariffs. I'm in a good mood. Like that is not gonna make us actual manufacturing changes. I agree. There's some things we should make in America, but also we need Canada and Mexico to really like us too because they have a lot of resources in those
It's the
countries. We
same
need all of North of America together.
I agree with it, but some of the things that Biden did that wrecked us right off the rip was cutting that pipeline down. Like Trump had us energy independent for the
That
first
Keystone
time ever.
pipeline came from Canada.
It was working through the United States.
No, the
Though
pipeline comes from
it was
Canada
going to
though.
benefit.
The
Do you know
Keystone
how many
pipeline's from Canada.
Americans were working on that pipeline?
Those were gonna be like very temporary jobs. All those Americans, it would have employed 10 people long term. All those Americans would have
Okay,
been
but
working
it
for
was
like
going
six
to
months or whatever.
benefit the United States just as well.
It was still from Canada. It was still Canadian oil.
So you're saying that it wouldn't have benefited America, and it wouldn't have led
I'd have to go
more
look
to
at
our
the cost
energy
benefit
independence,
analysis
and
again,
it
but
wouldn't have kept gas prices down lower, and
no, it
instead.
would not have done that. No, it would not have kept gas
So
prices
it was a
lower.
coincidence the gas prices skyrocketed right after that ended.
After COVID, we had a couple issues with like Ukraine,
No,
Russia. After COVID, there
I'm
was
saying
super
the
high
gas
demand, so there's
prices.
a lot of different issues. But like Biden had peak energy independence. We had peak oil production in American history in 2023.
And we should. We have the largest amount of natural resources in the world.
Yeah,
We
but
should be
when
drilling.
Trump says drill baby drill, like we're not drilling oil. I mean, Biden had the record for the most amount of oil drilled in 1 year as American president. So like when Trump said that made no sense. You'd have to like,
Which is
you
kind
have
of
oil,
crazy
then you have
because
refineries, and
he it campaigned on we're not going to frack, we're not going to do any of this. And
Biden never said
here's the
that. No,
thing I
Biden
like
was always
about
pro fracking. Biden was pro fracking.
here's the thing that
You're breaking up again.
Trump is the first president in my lifetime that is actually doing the things that he promised that he would do. We voted for it, and he's doing the things that he said he would do.
Yeah, I mean, deporting a bunch of people. He's just like, that's easy to do though. When is he gonna do actual like
The
economic
majority
plans?
of the country wanted it.
That's easy to do. And Obama deported more people than Trump ever did. Like Obama and Biden were deporting tons of people.
Of course he did. Now I do
Trump
believe that
Trump had more
Trump
peak
will
border crossings
surpass
than
Obama though this time.
well, yeah, because now he's taking just like really, harmless people who are
Well,
on
there's
visas.
just more
So.
in that. I mean, like they say 10 million, but it was probably more around like 20 or 25
And it's
million
crazy that we have that many immigrants coming in, and we had no increases in crime in any targeted areas in the U.S. Even in sanctuary cities, crime still has been coming down consistently, even through the high influx of immigration.
I mean,
My big thing, like calling them
been all kinds
aliens, I think there's no reason to call them aliens. There's no
What
reason to
about the
dehumanize
Colorado
people.
incident?
Yeah, that is one incident. It's a big world. That's a huge world. And like when they bring up things like Lake and Riley in Colorado, they're using emotional appeals to demonize all immigrants because they want people to see all immigrants as violent. Because why would you bring up like one immigrant out of 20 million when immigrants commit crime at a lower rate than Americans do?
Look, I'm a Christian. I don't hate any people, and I believe that
Well, a
everybody
lot of
should.
Christians do hate people. Christianity was used to justify slavery, and the KKK was Christian. So I mean, it doesn't mean anything.
Okay, so because some Christians played Christianity bad, that makes Christianity bad. That'd be like me trying to play Mozart, and just because I can't play Mozart good, that makes Mozart not good.
No, I have nuance. There's a lot of Christians that also assault children in Bible schools and stuff like that in kids groups. But I also think there's some really good Christians. But also, I want people to have that same nuance with immigrants and have the same nuance with other people they disagree with. We're not going to expel Christianity. We're not going to
Atheism is
expel.
responsible for more murders than any any religion, I'll consider atheism a religion, is responsible for more deaths than any religion.
It depends
I
what you
mean,
consider religion. I mean, we did have the Crusades. We do have holy wars right now in the Middle East still. Like, if we're looking at what's
yeah,
happening in Palestine, Israel right now, I don't know if that's the best claim to make. The atheist countries right now are probably the most pacifist, actually, globally. If I think about European countries that are low in religiosity, whatever the word is. But I mean, in general, I don't. It just like Donald Trump is not a Christian. There's no way he's ever gone to church. He's never like he
I
doesn't even
actually
know what a
do
sermon
agree with
is,
Mom.
but he lies his ass off
And-
about
and
it.
I
You're breaking up again.
a podcast. And look, I understand Trump's brash, and he people don't like his tone.
Well, he's also a bad overall person, and he does bad things to people.
See, I
can't hear you. You're breaking up a lot.
they Trump
You're breaking up a lot.
racist.
I can't hear you.
Okay, well,
I don't
I'll
know
let
if
you
you have
go.
a different
Good talk.
position. Okay, yeah, thanks for calling in. I don't know if you have to have a. You must be. You said you're in Kentucky. I don't know if you're in a dead area.
Yeah.
Or whatever, but
Yeah, kinda. But yeah, good talking with you.
yeah, I appreciate the conversation though. I hope to see you on the channel again.
All right, thanks.
Have a good one. Good night. Okay. Oh. Let's see the review of that conversation. Interesting. Every point I bring up about Trump, they agree with, but it really is the emotional part of immigration. They're really mad about immigration. So if you bring up immigration, then Trump is really cool because Trump hates the immigrants. He's kicking them out, and people think that's the number one issue for anyone, anywhere, anytime at all, and also pronouns. But anything else, like that, I mean, that's why Trump won is literally social issues, and that's it. Oh.
Call from
Mark.
Howdy.
How's it going?
It's going all right. How are you?
Good, man. How are you doing?
I am doing groovy. I don't know what that means, but I'm doing it.
Awesome. Well, hey, man, I just wanted to kind of see. I've seen your stream come up on my feed a couple times, and I just wanted to kind of get a parameter of like what we can or can't talk about, or is this like, can we talk about anything or?
Any current events right now?
Okay. Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
As in, like, with this last year, you it seems like you don't support Trump by any means.
Yeah, I support the American like Constitution and freedom and stuff and healthcare and all that kind of stuff. And I don't like corruption. So yeah, I don't like Trump.
Okay. You don't like corruption, but you don't like you don't like fraud either, right?
Yeah, so like for example, like Rick Scott wants to cut Medicaid, but Rick Scott did the biggest Medicaid fraud scam in history when he worked for a healthcare giant, so I don't like Rick Scott very much.
Do you think all the money that's being freed up within our own government, do you think that's a problem? Do you think all of it's fraud, a little bit's fraud, some of it like power play?
There's been zero evidence of any fraud anywhere.
Okay.
Did
So
Doge release one piece of fraud evidence?
it's all on their website.
Well, you have
right?
to tell me. Well, okay, the answer is no. They have not released any instance of fraud. There might be things you
Okay.
don't like, but like if they cut money from child cancer, from pediatric cancer research, I think that's really bad. I don't want to save money. I want my money to be spent in child cancer research. Actually, I love
Sure.
helping the kids. I do not want them to cut USPS workers. I don't want them to cut
Dude.
Veterans Affairs workers.
Yeah.
Those are all terrible things to cut. They're cutting 80,000 veterans from Veterans Affairs, or they're cutting 80,000 veterans in general from their jobs right now. I don't like that. I want my tax dollars going there. And meanwhile, my tax dollars are funding hype videos about pushing people around like animals while they're doing deportations. I'd rather I don't think they really have any evidence of fraud at all.
Deportations. Okay. So you think there's zero credibility to what they're doing right now?
Objectively, yes, there's zero credibility, especially with the social security lies
Okay.
that Musk said about it being a Ponzi scheme and people like being dead getting checks. None of that is substantiated. None of it is true.
Yeah.
Social Security is one of the most reliable insurance programs of all time. It has the best rate
Okay.
of payments received by people. It never missed a check, and also the rate of fraud in Social Security is far, far, far lower than any comparable private insurance plan for any kind of area.
Okay. So, do you believe there is like fraudulency and scams happening in America today?
Yeah, and Trump is making them more legal.
Okay. More legal or less illegal?
Much more legal. He's removing the Consumer
Okay.
Financial Protection Bureau. He's taking away our ability to monitor shell companies. I don't know who that helps. He's helping companies.
Yeah.
He's freeing them up to release cancerous chemicals into the environment that our kids are playing in. He's rolling
Okay.
back EPA regulations. Biden was actually suing a company because they were
Hmm.
dumping cancerous carcinogens, chemicals in local habitat. I don't know the freaking local environments. And yeah,
Okay.
Biden's making it legal more, or Trump's making it more legal to be corrupt. Trump actually
Okay.
legalized corruption in his cabinet. Biden
Oh,
banned his cabinet members
yeah.
from taking gifts from big donors, and Trump made it legal again for some reason.
Interesting. Do you think RFK has America's best intentions in dealing with our food and chemicals?
No, because RFK said that measles vaccine is not really that trustworthy. He said people die from the
Okay.
vaccine more than they die from the diseases. He's discredited the polio vaccine, which is the best invention
Mm.
in human history, one of the best inventions. He went from saying Trump is like Hitler, like a few years ago, to being
But
like a
didn't
liberal, to being like a Trump supporter. He
didn't
was
he
literally
clean
shopping around his
the
influence this
Green
election. He just
River?
wants power.
Sorry.
What was that?
Sorry. I didn't want to interrupt. Did he clean the didn't he clean some like big river
Yeah,
on the East
he was a
Coast?
good environmental lawyer, but he's
Okay.
definitely insane when it comes to anything medical, which is why it's insane he's leading our health
Yeah.
services.
Do you feel like he just had like some change within the last 2 years just to get political power?
Yeah, I mean, objectively, he's changed his position multiple times. Trump called him
Okay.
dangerous and a communist. I mean, so they all just want power. It's the same with Tulsi Gabbard. She switched her support from friggin' she was a DNC chair to a Bernie supporter to a Biden supporter over Bernie, and then a Trump supporter. She just like picks
Yeah.
whatever area she can get more power in. So and Musk did that
Did
too. Zuckerberg did that. So
yeah. Did you support Bernie?
yeah,
Yeah. Why do you think he was ousted in 2016 from the primary
he wasn't ousted.
versus Hillary Clinton?
The media was definitely biased against him as he's not a Democrat. He's also against the big money in politics.
What media?
So like MSNBC, CNN definitely helped spread
Okay.
lies about him being a sexist or a racist or not being good for black people or women. So that definitely was
Okay.
a big narrative,
CNN?
and also yeah, pretty much every news station
That's
made the
crazy.
narrative that Bernie was unable to win, with the super delegates too in 2016. So they played a big role in like the media definitely hurt Bernie when it comes to perception of Bernie Sanders. But
Yeah.
it was in no way was it a rigged system. It was not a rigged primary. But there were forces fighting
And you
against
said the
him, and
media did
he's an
this
independent.
back
So
in 2016?
yeah, MSNBC, CNN helped a lot. Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like that affected his uh his race at all?
Um, yeah, it definitely affected his race to some extent when the media is against you. I mean, with Donald Trump, for
Yeah.
example, he has his own media. He has the biggest media empire of all time in American politics, with right
Oh, it
wing
really
media.
does.
Yeah,
That's
objectively, when it comes
crazy.
to total
He
views
owns
on the
Fox
internet.
News.
Yeah, he's best friends with the person that does own it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
The person
That's
that owns
crazy.
Fox News was in the White House a few times. Yeah, they're best friends. They do coordinated campaigns for propaganda. Ben Shapiro, owner of Daily Wire, was also in the White House. Trump is also best friends with pretty much like every Twitter user. Elon Musk boosts right wing accounts on Twitter and spreads the most misinformation of any human in human history. So yeah, I mean and Fox News gets like 75% of primetime viewers. So right wing media dominates every single arena, including things like Joe Rogan, which are not inherently political, but he talks about politics every day. So
Got it. And you think he just like was some psyop that happened when he
Joe Rogan
started?
or who or
Yeah.
Trump?
What do you think he's like he's like a political guy, or do you think he's just a guy that
He
somehow
wants to be
became
accepted.
political?
He wants to be accepted. So like Dana White is a big
Yeah.
influence for Joe Rogan, so he tells him what to think. Right when Dana White got on the Facebook
Okay.
board, on the Meta board, Mark Zuckerberg
Well, I
came
think
on
that's
Joe Rogan.
everybody,
So.
right? Everyone just wants to be accepted.
Well, to the extent where
seen.
you will believe literally anything, Joe Rogan's a very weak person. He's a follower, and he had no dad growing up, which he attributes to him being weak. So I mean, he even talks
Okay.
about he was a Bernie supporter after talking to Bernie. He was an RFK supporter after talking to RFK. Whoever's in front of Joe Rogan, he feels the need to be liked and accepted. So if he's talking to only
Okay.
like certain comedians that are very right wing or a bunch of billionaires, so he's around all the most powerful people
Yeah.
of all time, and he's also acting like, yeah, I'm just like you guys, and he's talking to Mark Zuckerberg, Mark Andreessen, Elon Musk, and Peter Thiel back to back to back. Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely not because of a podcast. But you're saying that, Joe Rogan, the UFC commentator,
Definitely not because of
who
what
fought for years,
podcast?
is just so weak. Oh, we're talking about his podcast, right? That he had all those people on.
Yeah. So like him having those people on, like right after the election, he's helping to rehabilitate their image, and he does help them spread propaganda by having
Yeah.
so many viewers for sure. And he does not push back against
Do you
anything. He
think
believes
that
anything.
helped?
So
Do you
yeah,
think
that helps a
helped
lot. Yeah, I know Joe Rogan
swing?
viewers that are
Yeah.
very right wing. Yeah, because of Joe Rogan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think canvassing helped at all?
No, not as much
Do you know
because
about
the
political
propaganda
canvassing?
on phones and stuff is much more important now. Because that's like inside people's homes
Oh,
24/7. They listen to podcasts. They believe that kind of
right.
stuff. So someone knocking on your door is not going to help much. People don't go outside in the real world. They don't really integrate with their communities very much or interact with their communities. So yeah, right now a lot of people are very isolated from one
Well,
another.
so if Kamala spent $1 billion on multimedia campaigns and then pulled back in different areas, like in North Carolina, 4 weeks before the election, where she lost dramatically, do you feel like she did that knowing because of what was coming out within the polls?
I think her ad strategy was stupid. It would have been better to just like, I don't know, Joe Rogan led them around a little bit, so that was difficult. But I don't really care
Okay.
about the ad spending that much. It was kind of a,
Do
it's a
you, so
no one's gonna
like
vote based off TV
concerning with
ads.
like polls and like canvassing, do you feel like they have any sway in the election, or is it just like this is
Polls,
just your
no.
guesstimation?
Canvassing
No.
sometimes, but canvassing's probably bigger for local elections. But when it comes to national
Have you
elections,
ever like canvassed
not really.
before or anything?
Yeah.
Is this
Yes.
like
It doesn't matter as much.
have you like done like political science? Is this like just a passion of yours
Yeah, I do. I have a master's in public policy.
in policy? Cool. Nice. Um, have you like applied it in like the real world
Yep.
outside of like, yeah, like canvassing or
Yeah, I have
political
done
campaigns or anything
canvassing.
like that? Okay,
There's a bunch of things
cool.
going on, yeah.
Nice, man. Well, I just wanted to ask you, like, in regards of immigration, my mom, she came over a visa and she did the whole process. She waited and then became a U.S. citizen. What would you say to her about what's happening right now with immigration?
So I was born in a very poor family. I did not have good healthcare coverage for much of my life, and now I do. And I still want to give people healthcare coverage, even if they, are young. I still want everyone to have a
Yeah,
chance and be treated fairly. So even for myself and my own
sure.
experiences, if it makes sense,
Yeah,
there's certain policies where someone's undocumented, they overstay a visa. It makes a
yeah.
lot more sense for our country. Why would we spend billions of dollars deporting people when they're already contributing to our communities, paying taxes? And they're great people. So yeah, I would never deport people like that and ruin their lives
Yeah,
after they're
my
already
mom's a
here with
great
kids.
person. Yeah, she actually ate from the trash in Mexico City. She grew up very poor, and it was my dad that actually found her as a missionary. I guess founder is like kind of a weird term, but they got married. One thing led to another, and um, she had to wait, um, wait for that process, and all those years she had to learn English to take the exam. Just alongside with a lot of different people. A lot of them were Hispanics. A lot of them were
Yeah,
from
sure.
Asian
What
descent.
point are you getting to?
I'm just saying, like, you know, why is it okay for other people to follow the law and other people not? And I'm not saying that Mexicans or Hispanics or people are outside are not good people.
Are you saying she got
I
a green
believe
card because she
Mexicans,
got there here? Your dad was on a mission trip and she got a green card because he married her. You're saying?
she got a visa. Yeah,
Okay, so she had an American
to be part of
citizen
the visa
be able to help
process.
her get ahead of line, but when it comes to, people that are in the immigration system in general, it's a broken system for sure. It should be a quicker process in
Yeah,
my opinion.
100%.
So
I have
I
to
think it
agree.
should be quicker, but also if it makes sense,
Yeah,
it makes sense in my opinion. Why would I spend my taxpayer dollars deporting people? Like there's a little girl that got deported that has brain cancer, a 10-year-old girl with brain cancer,
right. I
and her
remember you
parents are
saying
working
that.
hard paying
Yeah.
taxes into a system that they can't benefit from. And
Mm.
why would I ever want to
It's
spend money
sad.
on kicking them
It's
out of the
really sad.
country? And we already have a
Yeah.
very low unemployment rate. We actually need more workers in America in general for every kind of job.
So
So
I guess like the heart of the issue is the border, right? And do you understand what's kind of going on there with cartels and different things like that, like drug wars, cartel wars?
there's no issue now that's any worse than it was in the past 70 years to justify what Trump's doing with
70
the
years? Really?
Alien Enemies Act. Yeah.
You don't feel like human trafficking is at its highest than it's ever been,
Yeah, I
human
think it is
slavery
at
or
a high
anything like that?
level. So, like for example, like Trump right now, they defunded a unit that was working in Ukraine because Russia does child trafficking and steals Ukrainian children and puts them in re-education camps and sells them. And Trump killed the initiative to help find
At
those
the
kids.
border?
So,
At
Ukraine,
our
Russia.
border
No, I'm just saying for Ukraine and Russia
or
for like
the,
child trafficking.
oh,
And I care
okay.
about child trafficking
Okay.
everywhere, especially for like our allies and stuff, but also America as well. Trump is also they're diverting ICE resources to tracking pro-Palestinian or DHS resources to tracking pro-Palestinian rhetoric online to track people who might be pro-Palestine. And as they're
Yeah.
tracking them, they're moving people away from child sex trafficking units. So I mean, I think it's bad Trump's doing that, and Trump should probably care more about violence and trafficking for sure. I
Human
agree.
trafficking.
Yeah, I agree. He
Do
should
you
stop.
agree
He
that
should
human
stop
trafficking
attacking
is
innocent
bad?
people. Yeah. Yeah, definitely,
Right.
dude.
Well, I mean, have you ever talked to anyone that's like crossed the border, has talked about how difficult it is, how dangerous it is? Have you ever talked to anyone about that?
I mean, yeah.
What it entails of? Sorry, I'm just like trying to. There's like a lot of rhetoric, but I just want to know, like, your degree. Does it have like, any like accreditation with like? Have you talked to like immigrants? Have you talked to people that have crossed over here? Have you actually done political work? Are you just, I see that you're in front of your computer, but I'm just wondering, like, how it's like, if someone plays Call of Duty, all the time, and they go, yeah, I go to war. And
I'm
you're like, well,
involved in
what's it
real
like?
political work. I am involved in real political work. Are you?
Oh, me? No, dude. I hate politics. I'm just
Yeah.
wondering, like, where like the rubber meets the road. You know what I mean? Like, what is like? Have you talked to people about the border? Like, I just want to know, like, what like life experience you've had dealing with policies, or even like doing like any like real like, you know what I mean? Like the nitty gritty, like the meat of the issue.
How do
You
you
know?
think this stuff works? You realize you can read a policy and see if it works or not, or if it makes
Yeah,
any sense. So like
sure.
when Trump says, for
It
example, like
happens all the
tariffs are
time.
good,
We don't
then
have policies that don't make sense at all. And we're wasting millions of dollars going to places that, yeah, we've never really heard of.
oh yeah, well I mean, there's a really complicated thing about the world. I mean, you can ask questions about that kind of stuff instead of being condescending about stuff you don't know about. But
No, I'm just asking. I was a general
I'm just
question,
asking
like, have you
questions. What do you
talked
think
to
about
immigrants about
what do you think
crossing the
about Jewish
border
people?
or trafficking? Jews are, God's people. I have nothing against them. They like things kosher. I think the Israeli state is always impending in war, and it's a very dangerous,
Oh yeah, you don't pay
contentious
attention to
state
politics
that's
at
been
all.
happening
That's
for hundreds of
interesting.
years. Well, I mean, I think Ben Netanyahu is an interesting guy. What do you think about him?
What do you think about Jewish people? Do you think they have political power in the U.S. that's too big?
I think the USA had a lot of political power with the Jews.
USA?
I don't know why that's so funny. Like, it's a backdrop for the CIA to do black covert. I don't know why it's funny.
Because
Like,
you're like,
from
yeah, I don't pay
2
attention to
years from now,
politics. It's like I
gonna
bring up,
be
dude, I literally, you sound like the most mumbling fool ever. You sound like Patrick the Star on freaking on Klonopin and Xanax at the same time. You sound like Patrick the Star, like starring your way through the whole conversation. I bring up Jewish people, you start going off, bro. You're like, the CIA and the USAID is a Jewish plot. It's like, holy crap, you're awesome.
You
I
know
love
what's
you.
so
Have a good night,
funny
buddy. What?
is that this was like strange at first, but now I really see who you are. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm anti-Semitic people, and you hate Jewish people, and I don't like that.
Oh, okay, sure. All right, guy.
You think USAID is a
Okay.
Jewish organization?
Yeah.
Yeah, I clocked you easy,
Yeah.
bro. I don't know how I knew. I don't know how I knew you were like that. I somehow I knew.
Oh yeah. You got me good, bro.
I did. I did. Now you're going back to the Patrick Star voice. You got me good, bro. I'll bring up Jewish people. Be like, USAID is a CIA plot for the Jewish control. It's like, yeah, dude. Thank you for your contributions.
So, if it turns out to be mainstream from a year from now, where do you go from that? Like, where do you go on your stance if it becomes public-wide knowledge? Like, is there any like discourse that have you ever gone back on any rhetoric that
Public-wide
you're
knowledge for
standing on
what?
now? Like for fraud, like for Doge cuts?
If there's ever any evidence of, well, actually, no, it's impossible. They don't do anything. It's a fake organization. It's not even a real thing. They've said enough disqualifying things about Social Security alone. Like what they've said about Social Security and like ages and dead people getting benefits that we know, just statements we know that are not true. They've said enough disqualifying things already. And like they're shutting off healthcare or Social Security payments for people who are still alive right now. All the people they claim are dead. There's a lot of people who they're just like stealing money from now, who are not dead. And yeah, they're
Stealing
saying a bunch
money?
of fake stuff about like the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Yeah, they're really bad. Yeah, they're bad guys.
Okay. So for most of Americans that approve for Trump right now, why do you think that is?
Trump has he actually has most Americans disapproving now. I don't know. I mean, Trump's really good
Is
at
it because of
messaging. He's good at lying.
protests or
He's good at manipulating people. He knows how to lie really well. That's why he won the
right?
election. Yeah, he lies
Yeah,
really
Biden
good.
never did that. Kamala
No,
never
I
did
mean,
that.
everyone lies, but Trump is like king liar. He's really good at manipulating people. He literally ran on no healthcare plan. It's amazing. It's powerful. He could just say anything and people will listen to him because they like him sexually.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. Hey, did you grow up being a Democrat, or did you
No, I was more
not?
conservative when I was a kid until I like understood how the world worked. I was really conservative when I was a
Okay.
little kid. I liked John
What
McCain
was
over
like the
Obama and
change
stuff.
for you as like just going to like college, some like
No,
liberal arts
before
school, or
college, learning about how
okay,
policies affect the world, looking at the history of the U.S. So like Reaganomics failed completely. Our most prosperous
okay,
periods came after we invested a lot in each other,
yeah,
in our infrastructure in
right,
America, and like
sure,
when unions died, things went bad. Whenever big money infiltrates politics, I know that's a bad thing. Trump is the most pro big money president in American history. I'm just pro labor, I'm pro healthcare, I'm pro people at the bottom. And Trump is just like a reality TV star who never worked a day in his life, and he also just like wants to give free money, and he scammed people with the crypto coin. But as far as like conservatism and liberalism goes, the party that rejects that racism even exists, I'd rather join the party that has like a couple fringe
what's your like
activists.
favorite policy? What is your favorite policy? I just want to know. Like, you went to college for this stuff. I didn't.
My favorite policy
I
is
just want
making
to
all the
know,
kids
like, if
trans.
Reaganomics didn't work.
No, making all the kids
What's that?
trans. My favorite policy is making all the kids trans.
Yeah, that's a good one, right?
Yeah, that's all the liberals do.
Destroy the family. you know?
Yep. Yeah, we're doing that. There you go again. Here you
Just
go.
like
He's revving up.
just get people
He's revving up those
confused, like
fryers.
mentally confused.
There you go. He has strong opinions. He has very strong opinions. He
Well,
just
I
has
mean, like this
and
is
you're
like
just you're asking questions. You're just asking questions. You're one of those guys. You ask a lot of questions.
well,
You ask a
you're
lot of
not asking
questions.
me questions,
Do you
so
think the
I don't know.
Holocaust?
It's
How
kind
many
of
Jewish people
boring.
do you think
So
died in the Holocaust?
that's a good question. Is it 5 million, 7 million, 8 million?
Do you think the Holocaust happened?
I think the Holocaust happened, man. I
Uh,
remember people coming up to me and telling me about it, like old people.
do you think Hitler was a good leader?
No. Do you think he was a good leader?
No.
We kind of had a big war about it,
Yeah, that's
if
why
I
I don't like
remember.
Trump, because
I
Trump thinks
remember
he's a
that
good
from
leader.
school.
Trump thought he was a good
Yeah,
leader.
yeah. Did you have like an in-depth analysis with Hitler going to school for like political stuff, or
No, I just like I do my own research. On like North Korea.
okay, cool.
Like Trump is
Did
very
was
North Korea-esque.
you like North Korea? Sorry, I didn't. You
No,
like
Trump likes North
researching
Korea.
North
Trump
Korea?
likes North Korea. Trump's propaganda style is very North
Oh, yeah,
Korean.
yeah, yeah.
Trump's propaganda style is somewhere
What?
between North Korea and Russia. It's like a
I had no
combination,
idea.
but like sprinkle in like the
That's
American
crazy.
patriotic angle as well. But
He
it's,
had
yeah,
he likes North Korea. I had no idea.
yeah, he likes how they
When
rule
was
the
this
people with an iron
happening?
fist. He wishes he was a dictator. It's really awesome, actually. You should listen to him talk
Dude,
sometimes, dude.
I wish that happened. I wish that happened.
I know there's
You
no way you
know?
could just like Google him saying that. It's like hidden information, bro. You gotta oof.
Dude,
You
I
gotta
would
decode
love
it.
if he did that. That would be awesome. Right? No? Oh, you don't like Trump. That's right. Um, do you think he's a king right now? Do you think he should be king? No. Right?
I think that Donald Trump is viewed as a god. I think people think Trump is God. He should not be, but they view him as a god. Just like they view,
That's funny.
just like North Korea constructed people to view their leaders as gods. People want people to view Trump as God, like Trump supporters, and that's why they say he's like, I don't know, he was saved by God to save America. Scary stuff.
When he got shot?
Yeah, he says
The
it like all the time. Actually, he says it like 5 times a week now. That's all he talks
Dude,
about.
I just keep forgetting that happened. Isn't that crazy? He got shot? That's weird. Yeah, I mean, people do put a faith in leaders a lot. What do you think would save the Democratic Party from like losing more people? What do you think is like the next move?
Usually when the
Like,
economy gets bad, people elect Democrats to fix everything, and then once everything's
sure.
fixed, people elect like Republicans
Yeah,
again.
like
Republicans usually
swings
win at easy
left and
times.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, just
Republicans win
like
when things are good because they like
history,
weak
right? It
people
swings
when times
left,
are
it swings
easy, weak
right,
people
it
rise.
comes back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
easy
yeah,
times
yeah.
create weak people. So like when Democrats create easy times, and like Obama after Bush crashed the economy, or Biden after Trump crashed the economy, or Clinton after Reagan and Bush crashed the economy, they all helped the deficit. Like Republicans
Dude,
actually
I'm praying
lose
for
jobs compared to
disaster
Democrats.
too,
It's
bro.
crazy.
That's crazy.
I'm not praying for
Apocalypse is
disaster. No,
what's
I'm
gonna
just saying
bring.
that usually when Republicans come
Oh,
and mess things up, then people vote Democrat to fix things, and then they blame
okay.
Democrats because Democrats are supporting gay people and stuff because they're not really pro freedom. The Trump voters aren't really that pro freedom if they're anti-gay because they just don't like. They're more
For
like
gay Republicans.
yes, the gay
Isn't there
Republicans are
like a lot
also
of gay
dumb.
Republicans?
Yes, I also do
I
not like
think
gay
they're all.
Republicans.
What's that?
I don't
Sorry,
like
what?
gay. I do not like. I do not like gay Republicans.
You don't like gay Republicans, or you just don't
Yeah,
like gays?
only because they're gay. Yeah,
Oh, that's funny.
I love Republicans. Yeah.
But how do you save the Democratic Party from losing ground in like key states like North Carolina, California?
Democrats need a counter propaganda campaign because Trump's propaganda is overwhelming. So like Democrats need
Do
some
you
way.
not
They have to
think it
replace
worked the
leadership for
first
sure.
time? Do you
No,
think
the
like the
first
DI,
time.
DHS, NSA, like the fact checkers, any of that? Like, do you think they just got to fact check more? Like the
No,
more
Americans don't care about facts very much. They care more about narratives,
okay,
and Democrats need a narrative to
right,
fight
totally,
for.
yeah. That I do agree with you 100%. Narrative, it's a big thing. But
Okay, guys, I have to go. Thank you for watching. I just took some boring calls because I wanted the stream today just so I could stream, you know, because I'm getting off. I might get on later if I can't sleep, but I'm trying to go to bed early tonight. I might get on later. Thank you guys for hanging out. Let me see. Is Pisco still live? Please drop a like and subscribe. Please consider donating to Jolah Politics on Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo. Appreciate you. Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo, or coffee. Thank you for all the support. Please consider donating, etc., etc. Thank you, thank you. I might be on later, like I said. Who knows? But I'll send you over to Pisco. Yeah, Pisco's still on. Pisco's a creator. He's a lawyer. So go talk to Pisco. Thank you for $3, Barry. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Barry. Really appreciate it. Perhaps another day. He won't. Hey, I'm busy today. A lot of stuff going on. All right, appreciate you guys. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Glenn and Harry. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Helping keep independent media alive so I don't quit because the conversations are brain numbing. Okay, here's also really quick. Thank you guys again. Here's the Discord. Join the Discord, guys. Join the Discord to talk. You'll pay for lunch. What do you mean you'll pay for lunch? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good night, good night. If I can't sleep, you'll see me on here randomly. I'll send a ping out on Discord or something. But see you guys, thank you. I'm sending you to Pisco.